Welcome back to another CreateBits video. The last video I showed you a project that only uses one MIDI input as a melody and creates a simple loop with it. If you haven't seen it, it's in the description. And for this video, we're just going to have a look at the project and see what makes that possible. So what makes it possible to only use one MIDI input and create the whole little drum loop or like music loop with it that has an arpeggiator, chords and a bass. So what makes this possible is the flexibility and versatility of the Bitwig modulators. Here you can see this is the only MIDI input that we have in the whole track, and if you listen closely it's the exact melody that the bass plays, which is always one note at a time. So I'll play the loop now. And now I can just solo out the bass and you can hear it's exactly the same melody. Or the same notes. So, you can see here, this is the only MIDI input, and now we'll have a look at the power of the Bitwig note receivers. And yeah, so I won't go into detail about how the sound design is for each of the synths, but if you're interested, let me know and I can explain it further. But yeah, so here you can see what the bass does, and that's pretty unique to Bitwig, is you can put in a note receiver, which is for MIDI notes, and you can say where the MIDI note comes from. And here I always put in main MIDI for all of the elements. And since this is the bass and I only want to have one note and nothing special in the bass, as you can hear, I just let that be, and then the synth comes and everything else, like the FX and all the other stuff. So yeah, that's that for the bass. And yeah, then let's continue with the chords. The chords also have the note receiver from the main MIDI, but here it's where it gets very interesting. So here you can see there's a note pitch shifter, which basically can shift the received note by an octave. So here we go up 2 octaves because we want the chords to be not in the bass range, but like in the mid and high range. Then I put in a multi-note, which adds multiple other notes that are played simultaneously. So since it's chords, of course, we need like the 5th, and this is like the minor 3rd, and yeah, other notes. And so if I would only have those 3, then it would always play the same chord without any relation to a scale. And this would already maybe sound okay, but what Bitwig provides is this awesome diatonic transposer, which puts constraints on the notes. And here I said it's F minor the whole track, so I put in F and minor. And yeah, I use the constraint mode here, which says it controls if notes that not belong to the scale are filtered out, kept unchanged, or if they are repitched to the nearest key on the scale. And I think constraint is the one that repitches it. So yeah, we can solo that out, and all those 4 note input devices change the simple main MIDI into these chords. So that's already pretty awesome. And yeah, so what you hear in the beginning is only the bass and an arpeggiator. And the arpeggiator is similar to the chords. So we also have the note receiver from the main MIDI, from the only MIDI input. Then a note pitch shifter, which puts it up 2 octaves. And again, a multi-note, which adds simultaneous notes to that single note MIDI input. And then here's something special. This is a transposition map, which maps the pitch input to another pitch output. And what I did here is basically just play a bit around and said whenever there's a 6 coming out, there should be a 4 being output actually. And the same with 7, so that it creates some interesting arpeggiators. And again, here I constrained it by F minor. That's very similar to the chords. And then to make it an actual arpeggiator, I used the device from Bitwig, which makes them play after each other, each single note that's played simultaneously. So yeah, let's listen to it. I also play it without the arpeggiator, so you can hear how it would sound played simultaneously, the notes. Sounds kind of weird with all the distortion, but if you put on the arpeggiator and it's always a single note being played, I think it sounds kind of cool. And then at the end, just put on some drums, really simple. All of the samples are self-made, so yeah, you can use them in your own project if you want to. And yeah, some simple sidechain on the bass with the kick, and also on the hats. Yeah. So basically what this project makes heavy use of is the Bitwig note devices, which allow to receive notes from external tracks and allows to manipulate them quite heavily with note pitch shifters, multi-note, transposition maps, and other helpful note devices.